Volume 2, The Healing Magician Sneers. Prologue, The Healing Magician is Rescinded. After saving the Ice Wolf Race's village from the Diaral Kingdom, we were invited to a banquet and we stayed overnight after enjoying sake and some cooking. Finishing up our preparations for the journey, we leave the room. Freya, do you still have a hangover? Kiruga, the sake was stronger than I imagined. Freya, a beautiful girl in her mid-teens who was wearing traveling clothes that placed importance on functionality, leaned against me while being unsteady on her feet. This girl is Freya. Although she was originally Princess Flare, she had her memories erased and currently serves as my attendant, Freya. Even while wearing unfashionable clothes, her feminine appeal is overflowing. Her soft, beautiful pink-colored hair looks good on her. The Ice Wolf Race's sake is a warrior's sake. It's sake that is too strong for women or children? An uninterested voice came from the opposite side of Freya. The female, and child Satsuna, seems to be fine, but she drank quite a lot? That's because Satsuna is a warrior. Besides, I'm not a child anymore. Satsuna, who seemed somewhat proud, was twitching her pure white wolf ears. She is Satsuna, a warrior of the Ice Wolf race. She has white wolf ears and a tail, with white skin as well. A beautiful girl in her first half of her teens who is almost completely white. She was kidnapped by a human and sold off as a slave, and I bought her. We made a contract so that in exchange for assisting her revenge and saving the Ice Wolf race, she would reveal her true name. A true name is the name that is engraved into the souls of all living beings apart from humans, and if you use that name while using contract magic, you are able to manipulate your target at will. To a demi-human, giving your true name to the other person is equal to giving them your everything. Right now, every single fragment of Setsuna's soul has become mine. Kiruga-sama, please don't watch me so intently. I feel a bit embarrassed. Setsuna hides her face, but those lips made me feel curious. This morning, to increase her level limit, using those lips be careful. Kiruga, even though she's a little girl, Setsuna has an unusual seductiveness. I'm looking forward to tonight. Leaving that alone, I'll need to do something about Freya. For the time being, she is my attendant. Freya, come over here. Kiruga, yes. Kiruga-sama, Freya. I stop holding Freya, put the insides of the potion bottle inside my mouth and kiss her. Confirming that Freya swallowed the potion, I used recovery heal. I did that to make it look like I cured her with a potion mouth to mouth instead of using magic, because actually making a potion that sobers someone is a pain. Like how I showed Setsuna a forged appraiser, I'm hiding my class and skills that are related to healing magic. One day, the hero of healing cure I left at the castle will be revealed to be an imposter, so I can't let anyone know that I'm a healing magician. Thank you very much, I feel considerably better. As expected of Kiruga-sama's medicine. Freya, who was red in the face, leaks out a hot breath. Freya is my convenient tool, so it'll be troubling if she can't demonstrate her abilities when it's important. Freya, Satsuna, get on the raptor? We're going back to Renalita. Kiruga, yes, let's return. It'll almost be the time for our third meeting with the merchant, won't it? Freya, I'll obey Kiruga-sama's orders. Setsuna, seeming sad, Setsuna looked over her shoulder to the Ice Wolf village, but shook her head and faced forward again. She has already become mine, and has resolved herself to part with her friends. For a while, we will be able to earn money from this strange disease. In around 10 days, the source of water will be cured and this strange disease will calm down, but I can earn plenty of money until then. Soon, it'll be the right time for this business, so for my safety as well, I want to avoid any more prevalence of the strange disease. I'll spend time in Renalita until I earn enough money, and we'll move to another town after that. While thinking about that, I make the raptor start running. Tilda at the Diaral Kingdom's royal castle. This is, possibly, truly in that case, what's the true identity of the Imperial Guard captain that left the castle? One man was restrained inside the underground prison. He continued to receive ill treatment as if it was torture, and has traces of being beaten up all over his body. Apart from the man, there were people unfit to be inside the underground prison. High officials from the army, high-ranking nobles, and the king of the Diaoral Kingdom. The shock given from the discovered facts was to that extent. The man restrained in chains is the hero of healing, Gear. He was being used as a convenient tool after making him an opium addict, but one day he regained his sanity, killed a guard and escaped. Although Kier himself was immediately caught, while the castle was in chaos trying to capture him, the Imperial Guard captain became confused and on top of killing Princess Flora and her guards, he set fire to the princess's room before escaping. The crime the Imperial Guard captain committed could not be atoned for by not only killing him, but massacring his whole family and followers with him. The person himself is missing, but his blood relatives have all been publicly executed. And the hero of healing who started hesitating to use a recovery heal after being captured. To the soldiers, he was a criminal that killed their comrade; to the citizens, he was considered as the ringleader that caused the death of Princess Flare, who was loved by everyone. Without being treated like a human, he continued to take resentment and abuse. However, because of a certain thing, the situation completely changed. No matter how much medicine the hero of healing Kier takes in, no matter how much pain he is given, he obstinately chooses not to use a recovery heal. Earlier, when they tortured him until he was about to die, they used an elixir to heal him which got rid of the drug, healed his throat, and he started shouting out that he was the real Imperial Guard captain, and had his appearance changed by the hero of healing, Gear. At first, everybody thought it was just nonsense. However, no matter what they did, he didn't stay quiet, so they let someone who knows the Imperial Guard captain well talk to him and even used an appraiser on him. This man that was seen as the hero of healing was, without a doubt, the Imperial Guard captain himself. Yes, the truth was finally revealed. In that case, in the night of that tragedy, the true identity of the Imperial Guard captain that left the castle might be the Diaoral king who was heartbroken after losing his daughter that he loves, let out a groan. And then, Kier, the hero of healing. No, the Imperial Guard captain opened his mouth with eyes burning with hatred. That guy is the true hero of healing, Gear. Unforgivable, I absolutely won't forgive him. I'll kill him. I'll definitely kill him. Imperial Guard captain. The Imperial Guard captain strongly grips his hands into a fist, enough so that the nails penetrate through the skin. He beat me down to hell, killed all my blood relatives, and killed the lovely Princess Flare who I yearned for more than anything. What is he saying that I did? For the sake of this country, for the sake of Princess Flare's wish, I let him work and use his power efficiently. Despite all that lunatics toil everything. There's no way I would be able to forgive this. I see, so that's what it was. The one that killed Flare was the hero of healing, Gear. Imperial Guard captain, I'm not going to apologize to you. That's natural, isn't it? You made a mistake, got defeated by a lowly hero of healing, which made a chance to swap places. The king's words were bitter, but it was a fair argument. Losing to the low-leveled hero of healing that doesn't have a combat-orientated status or skills is a failure that would obviously put a mark of incompetence to the honored Imperial Knights. The Imperial Guard captain couldn't anything against that and kept silent. Even while keeping silent, he was desperately racking his brain to break down the situation. As it is now, the only thing that awaits him is death. While looking down on him, the king opens his mouth. However, it's a fact that Flare had trusted you and valued you highly. Above all, you resent the hero of healing more than anyone. I will give you a chance to redeem yourself, and achieve your revenge. Capture the real hero of healing, Gear. You absolutely cannot kill him, a simple death is too half-hearted. I will bestow upon you the authority for that. King, while still being restrained by the chains, the Imperial Guard captain put his knees on the ground and lowered his head. Yes, Your Majesty. Using all of my power, I will definitely do it. Imperial Guard Captain, while covering his face, he was laughing. He can fulfill his revenge on that hateful man. If I don't do that, I'd probably go mad. If I don't torture him with these hands, I'll become weird. I'll never hand this duty to anyone. Besides, although I purposely didn't say it out loud, I thought of one possibility. What I thought of was the fact that Princess Flare might still be alive. No matter how hard I think about it, a question is left behind of why he lit the room on fire. That was performed to hide something. The Imperial Guard Captain loved Princess Flare. He was too scared to say it out loud, but the emotion he felt was love, and lust. No matter how hard he tried, she was an unreachable existence. However, if Princess Flare, who was thought to be dead, was fake and the real one had become his puppet, I can take her. That was something he felt was so charming it couldn't be. I want it, I can't help but want it. Princess Flare's smile, that body, that voice, all of it would become mine. Revenge and desire, the man died in both of those, began to move. The hero of healing gear. No, Kyoruga still hadn't realized it. Chapter 1, The Healing Magician takes a cold bath. After leaving the village of the Ice Wolf race, we head towards Ranalita. Unlike the trip here, we don't have to hurry for the trip back, so we're running at a reasonable pace on the bipedal, horseback type reptile raptor. While letting the raptor run, I focus my senses to check for monsters that appear. I want to gain EXP from defeating monsters, and I want to secure ingredients for today's lunch. Eating monsters isn't to save food expenses, but it's to get stronger. I've still only eaten the one-horned rabbit. By eating a monster that has well-working, adaptable genes, it raises my talent values and is a shortcut to becoming stronger, so it's necessary to eat a variety of monsters. There are two different categories of monsters. One of them are monsters that naturally generates and does as they please. Most monsters are from this category. The other one are monsters that are set to work by their rulers, the demonic race, and can take actions for their organization, but don't move unless they're under the king's orders. Making the raptor run is quite refreshing. The good thing about it is that it's fast and doesn't tire. This was some good shopping. While thinking about that, I could see the figure of a monster concealed behind a tree in the forest. I found one, Satsuna, Freya, we're going to hunt that monster. Kyoruga, that monster had abnormally long hind legs, and was a wild boar with a green body. I stopped the raptor's legs while thinking how I should cook the wild boar to make it tasty. Ugh, my whole body has become covered in mud. Freya, TL note, I'd how to translate comma, but just think of it as a cuter way of saying ugh. Freya complained while even her prideful pink-colored hair was covered in mud. To catch the strange emerald green wild boar monster, I was running past the forest, but in the middle of it, he started powerfully throwing dirt at us with its hind legs. Setsuna and I were able to easily dodge it, but Freya, whose reflexes aren't very good, completely took it to the face, and on top of that fall over. Because of that, it turned into something tragic. After somehow defeating the emerald green wild boar and handling it, I used all the meat for our lunch. Freya is a dunce. Taking that hit means you're unskilled. Setsuna-chan, you're horrible. After all, it just can't be helped since I'm a magician. Freya, although her point is plausible, countermeasures are necessary. Freya, although it was lucky that mud was thrown, but if they were stones, it would have been a serious injury. This time your luck was good. Kyoruga, the common method is for a magician to chant while being protected by a vanguard, and send serious damage to the enemy from the rear. That being said, as long as we are fighting as a small party, we can't be that luxurious. A certain level of self-defense is necessary. This is Freya's issue and was already viewed as a problem from before. From the start, I had been planning to give her close combat training. That's right, I thought of something good. Satsuna, from every morning from now, could you practice for 2 hours with Freya? Kyoruga-sama, is that an order? Setsuna with a slightly displeased face. Setsuna asked me a question. It's just as I said. Plus, Setsuna is probably more suited to teach than I am. Giruga after all, although I have techniques for close combat, they're things I imitation heal from other people. Even though I copied their experience of putting in effort, it's hard to say that it's become my own flesh and blood. I'll make her into an adult warrior. Setsuna is strict. I'll be careful so that she won't die. Setsuna, please go easy on me. Freya, while being somewhat stiff, Freya bows her head. I commend you for not refusing right now. At the very least, we should get rid of that dirt. The water we have on hand isn't enough. Giruga, that's fine. There's a river nearby. Setsuna mutters that while twitching her white wolf ears. Her ears are extraordinarily excellent. She must have heard the sound of water that we couldn't hear. That being the case, let's bath there. I want to refresh myself as well. Giruga, I agree. I feel unpleasant from being drenched in sweat after running. Freya, Setsuna doesn't mind whichever. I'll obey Giruga-sama. Setsuna, that being the case, it's been decided. Let's head towards the river at once. After taking a cold bath to wash away the mud and sweat, I started cooking with the monster we hunted earlier. Both Setsuna and Freya are completely exhausted and it seems that we played around too much. Doing it outside from time to time isn't bad. TL note, don't know if this has a sexual meaning, but whatever. Now, I guess I should start cooking. Giruga, the only one who's still full of energy is me. Although it'll be a late lunch because we played around too much, I'll make it properly. I'll need to make sure they please me as much as I let them enjoy themselves. Satisfying my sexual desire, and now my appetite. As I thought, a wild boar's meat is hard. Giruga, I can tell from the feeling I get after inserting my blade, it's not something that can be eaten by being boiled or grilled. However, my Jade-ish had seen the adaptable genetics inside this meat that trace the defensive talent values. It would be a waste to not eat this. Okay, there's a good cooking method for this. Hard meat should be minced. Giruga, placing a lump of the wild boar's meat on an instant chopping board made of rocks, I thoroughly struck it with my sword. To the meat that had become minced, I mixed in finely chopped wild edible plants I found in the mountains. In addition, I knead in dry bread that had been broken up and water as well. After kneading it enough, I broke it up into small meatballs. In my village, to cook the horses that have gone old and unable to work, this technique was used a lot. No matter how hard the meat, it will make it soft and delicious. Then, I pour water into a pot and warm it up with an open-air flame, and take out a reddish-brown condiment that was made from fermenting corn, kumizo, and put it in. The kumizo starts making a good smell, which means it's time to put in the meatballs. TL note, is kumizo, an actual thing? Apparently miso can be made with corn, but it's still called miso. It might be some fantasy condiment that only exists in this world though. Yeah, if it's like this, the beast stench is better as well. Giruga, although I thought of roasting it, the beast stench that the meat emitted was too strong. Therefore, I decided to use it as an ingredient in kumizo soup. Kumizo has strong flavor and smell, so by using it, the beast stench is negated. That reminds me, Setsuna caught fish, didn't she? Giruga, the fish that she picked up had been gathered in one place, and I threw them into the pot after removing their internal organs and cutting them into chunks. That's a good smell. Setsuna's hungry. Setsuna, before I knew it, Setsuna had worn her day clothes and poked her face out from behind me while twitching her nose. This time's cooking is something I'm confident in. There's plenty of soup made from meat and fish. Giruga, it looks tasty. I want to eat it quickly. Setsuna, could you wake up Freya? Giruga, don't worry about that, look. Setsuna, when I looked towards Freya, she just woke up and her stomach made a noise. And because of the embarrassment, her face flushed. Yeah, it certainly is fine. Well then, let's start our late lunch. Giruga, yup. I'll bring out the plates. Setsuna brought out plates for 3 people, washed them and then brought them over. I pour in plenty of soup that had meatballs and thickly cut fish into them. Although this meatball is a bit smelly, it's fluffy and has the taste of wild plants. It's quite good. Setsuna likes food with a chewy texture. Fish is the best. Freya eats the meatballs elegantly and Setsuna vigorously crunches the whole fish including the bone with her teeth. I'm also eating from my own share of soup, and although the taste has a peculiarity, the good flavor is strong. It's the type of taste that makes you addicted to it. The meatball is fluffy just like I planned, and the fish is a freshly caught fish. There's no way it could taste bad. There's enough for a second serving, but how about it both of you? Kiruka, I'll gratefully take it, since I've become hungry after exercising. Setsuna will also eat. Setsuna eats after some intense exercise, so of course you'll be hungry. It was a great help that Setsuna caught some fish. Kiruga-sama, this food, it's strange because it's not just delicious. Power is welling up inside me. Setsuna, I was a bit surprised. As expected of the ice wolf race that has sharp senses. It seems that she's noticed the small increase in talent values. The truth is, I used the monster meat from the wild boar we hunted earlier. Eating a monster normally is poison, but if you use a secret technique passed down in my village, on top of being able to eat it, it makes you a bit stronger. Kiruga-sama, you're amazing. To think you can make people stronger apart from increasing their level limit. Setsuna looks at me with eyes glittering with respect. Out of the ice wolf race that desires strength, the one who desires strength the most is Setsuna, which is why she would have the reaction. Apart from this, I have other secret methods. I definitely won't make you regret becoming my property. Kiruga, from the start, I wasn't planning to regret it. Setsuna was already helped for a lifetime's worth. That's why, I have to keep trying to give back to you. Setsuna, that's an admirable attitude. I probably won't be able to obtain a talented person with a talent value this high, so I'll use her importantly. Afterwards, we emptied the pot and departed. Although we took a small detour, by night, we were able to return to our inn at Tranalita. My revenge still hasn't ended. Right now, it's the time to prepare, and I'm properly scattering the seeds. By now, it should be about time for them to sprout. While thinking about that, I make love with the both of them at night and fall asleep while feeling productive. Chapter 2, The Healing Magician Enjoys Revenge. As 2 days have passed since we returned to Renalita. Today we've come as a 3 to a tavern to eat good food. From time to time, eating just for enjoyment is necessary. Thinking about that, we chose a shop that has good food and good reputation. A few minutes after entering the shop, the menu we ordered had come. Kiruga-sama, it smells good. Setsuna, yes, the smell of the meat, tomato and many herbs is unbearable. Freya, it's good that my 2 companions seem to be enjoying themselves. The menu we chose is the attraction of the store, which is soup stew. The soup stew is an expensive meal that uses high-class gals, various herbs and spices, and on top of that has vegetables that have been boiled for a long period of time. There are times when you want to excessively eat these types of very elaborate meals. Once we leave this town and continue on our journey, no matter what, I want to make these elaborate meals. Furthermore, although this shop's stew has boiled meat inside it, for the finishing touches, they put on rare steak that has been cut up into bite sizes. Apparently, it seems that the meat used for this stew is put in after producing stock soup, so you won't gain true deep emotions from it. Eating soft steak mixed together with stew is the best. Well, let's eat now. Kiruga, yes. Kiruga-sama. Freya and Setsuna will also eat. Setsuna, and then, we start on the food. First off is the stew. I become surprised the moment I put it in my mouth from the overlapping taste of various vegetables and meat. The herbs and spices give the taste depth and further increase the degree of perfection of the stew. Putting the steak meat with plenty of sauce on top of it in my mouth, I understand the meaning behind why the shopkeeper said the boiled meat tastes washed out. This is my impression of the beef stew mixed together with rare steak that was cooked as if trying to keep in the meat juices inside. Although it's an expensive meal, it is worth it much. It's delicious. And the bread is white and soft. The bread used as garnish differs from the bread baked hard to preserve it, but is white and fluffy bread. The emotions I felt after eating it with plenty of stew on top is terrifying. Setsuna really loves this wine. It's sweet and easy to drink. The Ice Wolf Race's spicy sake is good, but this one is really tasty as well. Setsuna, the wine we ordered with it, is also first rate. They've used good grapes. We three continue eating, because obviously, the beef stew isn't the only thing we ordered. We ordered all the recommendations in the menu from start to end. Kiruga-sama, why are we being this luxurious? Freya Setsuna is also happy, but it was on my mind as well. Setsuna, it's to take a little breather. And the day after tomorrow, after we have our negotiation with the merchant about the medicine, we're going to leave this town. Kiruga, the moment I said we were going to leave this town, both their faces stiffened. Did something happen? Freya, I'm a bit suspicious. And I've heard quite a lot of bad rumors, so I figured it would be better to move to a different town before something dangerous happens. Kiruga, I've heard a rumor saying that the capital city of the Diaworal Kingdom has dispatched a mid-sized force to Ranalita, and it's supposedly a newly made special unit. It's general knowledge for the citizens of Ranalita to protect themselves, and since there are many people who are quick-eared, as long as you pay the money, you can get this information. There's the possibility that they found out the identity of the imposter I left at the castle. That being said, I've changed both my face and name, so although there's no way it would be exposed, there's nothing wrong with being cautious. TL note, damn man, you put ga at the end of your name. Much change. Otherwise, there's the possibility of coming to attack the Ice Wolf race that they failed to attack before with more fighting power. At the end, after earning the money they need, they would return. Besides. Shit. Is the sake still not here yet? Sake. Bring out the sake. The men who are 2 tables away from us are making a racket, and their wrists and necks had bandages wrapped around them. They're the soldiers from the Diaworal Kingdom who attacked the Ice Wolf race. Since they survived, they must have escaped under enemy fire. There were quite a few like that, and they've been deteriorating this town's public order. They get a death penalty if the fact they escaped under enemy fire is revealed, so they won't be able to return to the kingdom. For that reason, they sold their equipment without returning to the kingdom and have been barely scraping by. They look towards me. Oi, Sonny. Is that Ice Wolf race your slave? Escaped soldier, they are the second reason to why I'm planning to leave this town. That's right. She is my property. Kiruga, in that case. Could you sell her to us? We'll give her plenty of love. This much money should be enough. Escaped soldier Setsuna looks at the man with a disgusted gaze, and he throws 1 silver coin. On top of that, he brings out a badge that is proof to being a Diaworal Kingdom soldier from his chest. Even though he ran away under enemy fire, he seems to still cling on to the Diaworal Kingdom's authority. It's not enough. If you want Setsuna, bring me 1,000 gold coins. Kiruga, she is an incredibly talented person with shining talent, so there's no way I would give her out so easily. And can you not see this badge? I'm a soldier from the Diaworal Kingdom, you know. I'm sure you know what's going to happen if you oppose us. Escaped soldier Fumu, this man still hasn't realized that I'm the man who appeared on the battlefield as the hero of the sword. It seems the hiding my face and figure with a mask and robe worked well. Who knows? My meal will go bad, hurry up and disappear. Kiruga bastard, I'll kill the hell out of you. Escaped soldier, TL note, I'm laughing so hard writing escaped soldier each time as his name lol. I should have made his name small fry. The man comes to punch me, I see, so you are my enemy, huh? I am a pacifist, as long as you don't do harm, I won't come at you first. However, the moment you've become my enemy, there's no forgiveness. This is just right. I had just wanted something to identify myself as a Diaoral Kingdom soldier. I'm lucky. After all, I was able to make someone to take revenge on with these good circumstances. The moment he tried to hit me, he became my enemy. No, that's wrong. The moment he tried to take Setsuna, who is my property, he became a clear enemy. Now, dodging this fist is easy, but I should at least let him hit me once. If I think about what's going to happen from now, it's fine to give him this kind of service. I clench my teeth, but that fist didn't reach me. I won't allow you to hit Kiruge-sama. Setsuna, the person the man had his eyes on, Setsuna herself received the fist. And just like that, she decisively held down his arm. That who you hurts, my arm, break, it'll break. Escaped soldier Setsuna has trained her body to use extremely practical hand-to-hand combat. Her high status and using techniques to make the best of her abilities is her forte. Either disappear, or die, pick the one you like. Setsuna stand up, produces nails out of ice and thrusts them right before the base of the throat of the man. This town is a town for the survival of the fittest, the strong are justice. The man shamefully ran away. You've become strong, Setsuna. Kiruge, that's because I'm being given love by Kiruge-sama every day. Setsuna, while having a red face, Setsuna proudly says that. Setsuna's level limit has finally reached 20, which is the same level of an average human. If Setsuna, who is excellent for everything other than her level limit, reaches that level, she basically can't lose against any ordinary human. Because her accumulated EXP had finally been used up, she can't level up on the spot the moment her level limit increases, but from now on, when she levels up, she's getting closer to the level of a transcendental person. I'm excited for that. I'm proud of you for not killing him. Kiruge-nen. It'll be smelly if his blood comes out and the food will taste bad. And it's a pain. Setsuna, as expected, murder in the shop interior is bad. Setsuna, who hates humans, did well to endure it. Kiruge-sama, it's weird. To think he would want Setsuna. Setsuna, it's not weird at all, Setsuna is cute. Kiruge. I'll work hard to serve you tonight. Setsuna, who was called cute, happily shakes her tail. Seeing Setsuna become that adorable, I stroke her head. It should be because Setsuna is cute as well, but he probably also wants to clear away his resentment. Clearing away his grudge after getting easily beat by the ice wolf race on top of the bed. Immersing himself in a sense of superiority by tormenting a woman that can't resist. It's the thoughts of scum. Kiruge, this is a reason for wanting to get out of this town. The anger the collapsed soldiers have after failing the attack on the ice wolf race is already being turned towards the ice wolf race slaves. For that reason, might be the type of guys to buy slaves from the ice wolf race or enjoy themselves by ill-treating demi-humans that look similar. Humans are unsightly and foolish. This is sad. Setsuna, well, this is normal. Anyways, let's enjoy the food. I've heard a rumor that the dessert here tastes good as well. You can order what you want. Kiruge, I smile at Setsuna and Freya. We came here today to enjoy the food, so I'll prioritize this. Wow, to think there's also dessert as well. Is it fine to check out the menu? Freya, Setsuna will look as well. Yup. I can tell what kind of dessert it is just from the name. Setsuna, in that case, I will teach you. First off, this Korokana has an egg and cow milk. Freya, since they are girls, it seems that they are extremely fond of sweet food. Freya's explanation made Setsuna listen with her wolf ears straightening until the limit. Glancing at the man, I saw that he returned to his own seat. While drinking sake, he was complaining to his companion. He's quite easygoing, without even realizing that he has already died. I don't forgive the people that steal from me. I won't let anyone take from me, and I'll give the ones who try to take my property a suitable punishment. On the back on that man's hand, there was a tinge of red that looked like a small bug bite. Along with the revenge, I'm going to make him my test subject for a toy I recently made. By the time we finish our meal, the poison should have circulated throughout his whole body. Unexpectedly, poisons with delayed effects aren't that bad, they have various uses. So that he won't disturb our fun meal like just before, it'll kill him extremely brutally. Kiruga-sama, I've decided. Freya Setsuna will eat something fluffy with plenty of fruits. Setsuna the man didn't realize anything, and was happily drinking sake. He seems like he'll stay in this shop for a while longer. Thanks to that, I think I'll be able to enjoy revenge dessert as a bonus after my dessert. And in my pocket, I have the badge of a Diaworld Kingdom soldier that he showed before. That name, appearance, and the position of a Diaworld Kingdom soldier. I'll make sure to effectively use it after he has died. Yeah, dessert is good as well. Sweets are good to have from time to time. Kiruga while eating a sweet dessert, I look forward to the sweet revenge after the meal. Chapter 3, The Healing Magician has an unexpected reunion right now. We are walking through the poor people's section. I think back to the man we met at the tavern yesterday, and it was quite a grand way to die. In my sleeve, I've prepared a needle smeared in the poison inside the dark cylinder, and it'll become a fatal wound if I just lightly stab someone. TL note, the poison inside the dark cylinder is the toy that he used last chapter. It's good that I was able to test it out before using it in combat. The effects appear at approximately 40 minutes after use, and around 1 hour until they die. It's good for getting rid of someone without causing an uproar. I don't really want to come close to this area. Setsuna has a somewhat unpleasant look on her face. Well, it's close to the shop she was sold as a slave, she probably wouldn't be in a good mood. Please endure it. Today's most likely the last day that we'll come here. Kiruga, once we finish this time's negotiations, I'm planning to leave Ranalita. Since the Diaworld Kingdom has dispatched a large amount of soldiers, this town is dangerous. Nevertheless, the town is quite noisy today. Freya, yeah, because they're making a fuss about how a large amount of soldiers from the kingdom are going to be stationed here. And plus, there are a lot of them with wounds on their shins, so of course they would be curious about it. Kiruga, the soldiers have already arrived here. Ranalita is a town that develops accepting both good and bad people, so they don't quite welcome the soldiers from the kingdom. I tightly grasped the badge of a kingdom soldier inside my pocket. It's what I stole from the fool who reached his hand out to my Setsuna yesterday. As long as I have this, I can impersonate a kingdom soldier and gain information. Before leaving, I want to at least know the reason why they came here. That reminds me, when I went out this morning to buy our breakfast, I heard a rumor. It seems that the Sword Saint is coming to this town together with the soldiers. Freya, what? Kiruga unintentionally asked again. She's the first person I used recovery heal on in this world, and she's also an opponent that I have a chance of losing against if I fight her head on. Even if I can imitation heal her abilities, I can't imitation heal her skills. My level also has not caught up yet. If I were to fight her from the front, my chances of winning are slim. I do want to meet her once. Apparently she's an incredibly beautiful woman. Freya, I thought that the town was strangely making a racket, but to think the Sword Saint had come. Kiruga, as an individual, the Sword Saint is the Diaworld Kingdom's strongest warforce. So obviously, the Sword Saint wouldn't be dragged along for an ordinary matter. The moment she is called out, it means that it's quite an important matter. It seems that it would be better to think that the imposter I left at the castle has been revealed. We are almost at the shop we always go to. Freya, what she means by the shop we always go to, is the coffee shop where we sell our potions to the merchant. We should reach it within 5 minutes from now. Honestly, it seems that annoying things are made to be piled up. Kiruga, since before, all-seeing, which I imitation heal from the Sword Saint, and my countless numbers of experiences have been ringing an alarm bell. At this timing, huh? Freya, let's go back to get what we forgot. Kiruga, although they were skillfully concealed, around the shop, There were various presences. If it weren't me, nobody would have noticed. It just means they were concealed to that extent. The number of people is around 20 people. If I think about the number of them, it's easier than fighting the guys who attacked the ice wolf race, but this time, the situation is bad. I'm taking on assassins in this unorganized place which has many hiding spots while protecting Freya, who is a magician. Even if I'm together with Setsuna, I'm doubtful if I can protect Freya. A forgotten item, you say? Freya, it seems that I forgot the essential potions, so let's hurry back and retrieve them. Kiruga, I can't let the hidden people know that I've noticed them, so I'll quickly go out to the main street, and once I get there, we can escape in one go. So even Kiruga-sama has those moments. Freya, well, I'm a human too. Kiruga NN. Let's quickly go. Setsuna, it seems that Setsuna had also noticed. The ice wolf race's nose and ears are good, so they should be good at finding the hidden enemies. I pull Freya's hand to make her hurry. There are no presences that chased after us who were returning to our original road. It would be good if they believed that we really were going back to pick up what we forgot. They're coming. Kiruga-sama. Setsuna shouts, but there's no need for her to shout. Pulling my sword out, I repelled the dagger of the assailant who was aiming for me from the rear. Furthermore, I cut the neck artery of the enemy that had their balance destroyed. Blood spurts out. Furthermore, another person who was on the opposite side of this guy in a blind spot attacks me. I turn my left hand towards the enemy, even if it's from a blind spot. The sword saint's all-seeing can sense all movements. From that left hand, a needle flies out from it, and stabs the enemy's chest. The man crumbles down. Differing from the one with delayed effects that's prepared in my right hand, the left one is neurotoxin with immediate effects. Honestly, it seems I'm not that lucky considering I'm meeting robbers. Kiruga, even though I was able to defeat two in the blink of an eye, there's no unrest in the enemy. We are surrounded by a group that has quietly erased their presence. This is a critical situation. The silence in this place increases. How should I break the deadlock? While thinking about that, two men boldly appeared from the front. The merchant I'm trading my potions with, and his escort. Oh, Kiruga-sama. I was worried since you never came to have our negotiation no matter how long I waited. Merchant, I don't think I had names myself in front of you. Kunda. Kiruga, since we both knew it was a dangerous business, we both hadn't given each other our name. Despite that, because he called me Kiruga, he is trying to say he knows everything about me. It's a threat from the merchants saying it's useless even if you run. Therefore, I copied him. So that he would at least feel a bit of unease, I called the merchant by his name. There's something on your back, isn't there? Merchant, well, I wonder. Kiruga, if the enemy becomes afraid of me here, it'll be easier to move. I float a suggestive smile on my face. Merchant, how about you stop this farce? What's your reason for attacking me? Kiruga, I want you to tell me the recipe for the medicine. Although I was selling the medicine in secret, as I sell them, people find out where it's from. Since someone who wanted to increase the scope of this business had appeared for a joint investment, the amount you make has no longer become enough. Merchant, so that's what it was. Since you're incompetent and sold it unskillfully, you're being killed, huh? That guy who wanted to do a joint investment probably has a higher position and assets than you, right? The people you used for this time's attack is him spoiling you, it seems. You're quite a miserable man. Kiruga, the forced smile the merchant made got a crack in it for a moment. The merchant falling into a predicament after revealing the secret was already, in my predictions. If other people know about this get-rich-quick scheme, they would definitely be attracted to it. To continue earning, protecting the promise is an absolute requirement, but this merchant failed at it. It's a story which is as simple as that. That's not correct. It's a strategy to make more earnings. Merchant, well, that's fine. Because of that, you hired these 22 pros, including the two that died right now. It's quite troublesome to capture me and make me reveal the secret of the medicine, you know. So, it'll be fine if I make 20 corpses right now, no, including your escort, 21 people. It's a pain, but I've got no choice. Kiruka drawing my sword, I take a stance. The merchant spills cold sweat. Ha ha ha, you seem quite strong. However, while protecting those two hindrances, you won't be able to do anything. Merchant, well, that's true. If I was by myself, beating them would be easy, but right now, Freya is here. And for Satsuna, taking on this much people is still hard. It's impossible to fight while protecting them, but what are they going to do about that? What are you misunderstanding? These guys are my tools, if they are dragging my feet, I'll cast them away. I will let these two die, and including you guys, I'll massacre everyone. These two won't become my shackles. Kiruka, that's a bluff. Merchant, do you think it's a bluff? Kiruka, the merchant looks at my eyes, and takes a step back. He must have noticed that I'm being serious. Freya and Setsuna are both my convenient and hard to substitute possessions. I am attached to them, and I want to protect them. That being said, they won't get prioritized more than my life. Particularly Freya is planned to die protecting me, and it's not much of a problem if that happens early. I look at the laughable merchant who thought these two were my weakness with a self-satisfied face. The merchant lost his words, and it seems he's lost the chance for negotiation. He's finally noticed he's in a situation where he will die if he even makes one mistake. Of course, I want to avoid having them broken over such a trivial thing. Very well, I'll teach you the method of making the medicine. How's this compromise? 500 gold coins. With that, I'll sell you the recipe. I'll compound the medicine right in front of you and I'll even teach you the ingredients. However, I have no way of teaching you the magic I used. As long as you know the finished product and the ingredients, a pro compounder should be able to reproduce it, right? Kiruka, well, to say the truth, even if he knew it, he wouldn't be able to do anything. That will be fine. The condition is for you to make it right here. Merchant, he was baited. No, he wasn't able to decline. The merchant had noticed that I won't compromise any more than this, and if he did show more greed, he would die. First off, a wolfberry's leaf, holly olive bamboo and a chitara's fruit. Kiruka, TL note, wolfberry and holly olive exists, but when I searched up it came up with a cheese brand. Lol, I bring out the potion ingredients from my bag. Medicinal plants, fruit from trees and mushrooms which you can all harvest from a nearby place, and nothing new. Then, I perform the extraction of an active ingredient in front of his eyes. Since I had ordered the merchant to pass me the used ingredients, he passes me the ingredients that have been used up one by one. Finally, I put in special water from my flask and synthesize it with magic. Just before I pass the flask that has that special water inside, I stealthily use magic to change it into normal water. As long as they are not a magic specialist, it's impossible for them to see through my magic that was used to hide it. After passing the flask, the merchant hadn't realized the abnormality. He's an idiot. Even though the insides of that flask, the antibodies made inside my body are the most important ingredient. Without it, it's definitely impossible to reproduce that medicine. With this, it's complete. I've showed you the whole recipe, and I even gave you the ingredients needed for it. You should be satisfied with this. Kiruka, wait, that's only after we check if this medicine is the real thing. Merchant, it seems that there was an infected person with light symptoms of the strange disease. He confirmed the effects of it on him. Fuahahaha, I did it. I've done it. All that's left is to give this medicine to a compounder, teach the ingredients and recipe, and it'll be reproduced. What's up with, I use special ingredients you can't obtain in this country? That's an outrageous lie. Merchant, he laughs. He continues to laugh. Ah, please earn as much as you want. But before that, the payment. You're a merchant as well, so don't tell a lie in a transaction. Kiruga Humphrey, I'll give you this loose change. After all, I'm going to get a large amount of money after this. Merchant. The merchant throws me a bag stuffed with gold coins and leaves while laughing loudly. The presences of the surrounding assassins also vanish. Kiruga-sama, I'm very sorry. Because of me, you had to sell the medicine's recipe to them. Freya. Setsuna is also frustrated. Without being able to do anything. Setsuna is still very weak. Setsuna. The two of them are in low spirits, but I'm surprised. There's no anger towards me saying that I would abandon them. That wasn't acting, and I thought that was only normal from the bottom of my heart. Instead, it seems they regret dragging my feet down. That is the correct mindset of someone who is my property. From now on, I'll stay affectionate to them. I smile at the girls. Don't worry. I had originally said it, didn't I? Today's the last day I'm going to make money from selling medicine. I haven't had any losses. Rather, getting 500 gold coins at the end is quite a lot of profit. Kiruga. From the start, I had planned to make this the last trade. The amount of potions I prepared was 30, so normally, I would have gotten 300 gold coins from selling each potion at 10 gold coins. And that became 500 gold coins, so from this time's trade, I earned 200 gold coins profit. Even then, I'm frustrated. Those guys did terrible things to Kiruga-sama just to earn money. Freya. That's not true. He is definitely going to get a huge loss, because recreating the medicine is impossible. Kiruga. The essential antibody made of my blood. I changed that at the end, and from the start. Because of Setsuna's request, I cured the water source, so it's been made to cure the strange disease instead. Miserably, the strange disease itself should be cleared up in around 10 days. It has already diminished, and even if they somehow miraculously reproduce the medicine won't sell. He had a whole 500 gold coin loss. Kiruga. That merchant had shown his greed at the very last moment and failed. If he had just quietly bought the potions this time as well, he could have made a killing after selling everything by the time the strange disease settles down. Besides, if the medicine can't be made, the joint investor will make him go through something terrible. The appearance of him with a ghastly pale face comes to mind. I don't forgive those who try to steal from me. That's why, I ruined him. As expected of Kiruga-sama. I feel refreshed. Let's leave this town immediately. Freya. I've had enough of these disputes. Setsuna approves. Setsuna. They became refreshed at the end, and we have no more tasks in this town left. It was the moment I thought that. Goosebumps rose all over my body. What is this overwhelming feeling that feels like being stabbed by a sword? As if being stimulated by fear, I swing my sword. My sword collides with another sword. As expected, to think you could receive this. You are, Kiruga. A beautiful woman with silver hair, so lovely as if she was a fairy, and a woman who is like a pointed sword. The identity of the woman who swung her sword faster than I did was. Your swordsmanship is undeniably, the Claylet's swordsmanship. Although I did hear about it, to think you really are a master. Well then, I'll have you teach me where you learned that swordsmanship. Sword Saint Kuroha Claylet. The world's strongest swordsman. She is one of the few people who I currently can't beat one-on-one. Chapter 4, The Healing Magician finds a new toy. Sword Saint Kuroha Claylet, the strongest swordsman in the Diaworld Kingdom. Despite not being a hero, her level is 45, which is the top of humanity. She possesses an ultra-rare class Kama Sword Saint that gives her powerful abilities and skills. Although her abilities and skills are terrifying, the most menacing thing is her infinite sword techniques that she has diligently studied from effort and experiences. As I thought. The sword line you made when receiving my sword is undeniably from the Claylet's swordsmanship. Blocking my sword 3 times is even impossible for my instructors. Who exactly are you? Kuroha. Once small layer from the nape of my neck was cut. Blood starts trickling down. It seems I wasn't able to receive Kuroha's sword. In a short amount of time, Kuroha let out 3 sword attacks. If someone other than me tried, they would have died. Even though I imitation health sword saint abilities and can predict her sword lines because I know all of her experiences, I'm still in this sorry state. The Claylit's sword techniques are specialized for combat, so all excess movements have been scrapped off, but they are still more splendid than any other sword technique. The existence of Kuroha, who was letting her silver hair hang, coupled with those special moves, is like a beautiful sword. I jump back, taking a distance of around 1 meter. Kuroha didn't shorten the distance, but even then, I shouldn't lower my guard. If it's her, she should be able to cover this amount of distance in less than a moment. That's quite a greeting to suddenly come slashing at me. I don't have any thoughts on why I'm being slashed at though. Kiruga taking a stance with my sword, I laugh while being precautious. I can't beat Kuroha at sword techniques. There are various reasons for why I can't win. To start with, because of the level difference and the skills as sword saintess, Kuroha is strengthened, and her physical ability is superior to mine. And although I can recreate Kuroha's sword techniques, these sword techniques are optimized to suit her body. No matter how much I tune it when I swing, I won't be a match for the originator. Stop playing dumb. You are a serious criminal who killed soldiers from the kingdom. Besides, you have also earned the Claylit's pride in their swordsmanship. It's only obvious you should die. Kuroha. What are you talking about? Kiruga, stop playing dumb. The reason I came to this town is to purge a fellow student. The other day, the village of the Ice Wolf race was attacked, and out of the assailants, there was a swordsman who had remarkable skill in the Claylit's swordsmanship. The kingdom soldiers who tried to protect the Ice Wolf race were annihilated by that man. If a Claylit's swordsman actually degraded to darkness, no one would be able to stop that person unless it was me, and it's my duty as head of the family to stop them. Kuroha. Hearing that, I understood various things. Ah, I get it. So the reason Kuroha came here was because the kingdom failed their attack on the Ice Wolf race. Even so, the kingdom makes quite funny lies, considering they said that they dispatched their army to protect the Ice Wolf race's village. If you had a decent mind, you wouldn't even be able to say that as a made-up story. That being said, I was also careless. With that many kingdom soldiers, there would be some who realized that I was using Claylit's sword techniques. And so, you came slashing at every swordsman and judged from their sword line, huh? That's the same as slashing at random targets. Kiruga. It's different. Because if I see their way of walking, I would know that they use the Claylit's sword. When I observed all people in the whole town, you were the only Claylit's swordsman. That's why I followed you, and just as I thought, you were hanging out with dodgy people. Kuroha. This is the second surprise today. I was being cautious, and yet I wasn't able to notice her. Even though I have the self-confidence to notice an elite assassin, what a guy. And the fact that you have a slave from the Ice Wolf race is the biggest evidence. Kuroha. With a snap, Kuroha declares that while pointing to Setsuna, who is part of the Ice Wolf race. She's got a triumphant face while seeming like it's been decided. Setsuna, who is being pointed at, had a face full of displeasure. She stands in front of me, and protects me while spreading out both her hands. Kiruga-sama is not a bad human. He's the reverse. Kiruga-sama is our benefactor who protected the Ice Wolf race village from the humans' assault. Although Setsuna is a slave, I've become a slave as compensation for Kiruga-sama protecting the village. Setsuna. While glaring at Kuroha, Setsuna explains the situation. That was a good assist. It should be easier to believe than me explaining it. That's a lie. The kingdom's soldiers were dispatched to protect the Ice Wolf race, you know. If that's true, then there is no reason for the kingdom's soldiers and him to fight. Kuroha. Your assumption is mistaken. The soldiers of the kingdom attacked the Ice Wolf race's village. For the sake of training the soldiers and earning money, whenever the soldiers are free, the kingdom makes them attack dummy human villages and sell the villagers as slaves. For this child, I fought against the kingdom soldiers. Kiruga, well, it would be good if she believed my story, but... Oh, is that so? Kuroha, as I thought, it's useless. Even if I don't listen to her words, by seeing that her fighting intent hasn't faded, I know what decisions Kuroha would make. After attacking the Ice Wolf Race village, you're even controlling that innocent little girl as a slave and making her lie. It seems there's no choice but to cut down brutes like you. Kuroha, well, her behavior is normal, I guess. Since I was considered a villain from the start, if she were to compare my words and my slave, Setsuna's words and the kingdom's words, she would believe in the latter. The Diaoral Kingdom's outward appearance is a wholesome country. She wouldn't be able to believe that the army attacks demi-human villages and is involved in slave trade. I am more or less your benefactor, though. Kiruka unintentionally made an idle complaint. I begin to regret saving her. What are you on about when you say benefactor? Kuroha, no, it's nothing. Putting aside whether you'll believe me or not, I am saying the truth. I want you to pull back here and ascertain the truth for yourself, but if you even lightly pick a filthy part of the kingdom, it'll come flooding out as much as you want. Kiruga, this is my greatest common ground with her. Sword Saint Kuroha Clayolet. I respect her, and I admire both her strength and beauty. Therefore, I don't want to do much awful things to her. Besides, I want her to understand I'm not a villain. She is also a victim who is being tricked, so she's still in the area that I can endure. If she pulls back here, I'll forgive her. However, nevertheless, there is no need for that. Right now, I'll judge it here. If I release her from you, this child should come back to her senses. Kuroha, she points the tip of her sword at me. Ah, it was no good. I'm going to receive violence without a reason, and on top of that, my existence itself is at risk. My neck that was shallowly sliced earlier is throbbing from pain. The dark desires inside of me are violently struggling from the inside. Not only did this person give me cruel treatment, she's planning to kidnap Setsuna while putting on the facade of being a good person. I won't forgive people who steal from me. Please stop, Kuroha Clayolet. I will. Ah, at this rate. Kuroha Clayolet. You're going to become my enemy, huh? Kiruga, that's my intention. Kuroha, she steps towards me. At that moment, a sphere of fire that was around the size of a human head rushed towards Kuroha. From before, if you had just shut up and listen. Kiruga-sama is a hero who cured everyone from the strange disease and saved the Ice Wolf race. I can't forgive you for treating him like a criminal. Freya, TL note, hero meaning good person, and not the class. It's Freya. She had released her magic. If it was an ordinary soldier, without being able to dodge or receive it, they would have been scorched. However, Kuroha cut the ball of flames and continued accelerating. Hi, Freya. Freya, who let out a scream, was knocked out after being hit with the palm on the chin. It's not my hobby to kill women and children. Just stay sleeping for a bit. Since you and that girl from the Ice Wolf race were just being used by that man, I won't do anything bad to you. Kuroha, my head goes dizzy. This woman. To Freya. She injured my possessions, toy. Ah, I get it now. TL note, most of the time, when he talks about his possessions, property, there's the word toy above it, but I don't know how I should write that. Should I put it in brackets or not? This woman who slashed me, tried to kidnap Setsuna and injured Freya. She's just a target of revenge. You, what are you? Kuroha, the wicked part inside me is delighted from seeing prey after a long time. Kuroha becomes afraid of something and takes a step back. Ah, I've endured for quite a while, Kuroha Clayolet. Why are you that stupid? Now, I've got no choice but to kill you. Kiruga, I laugh. Well, let's make her receive punishment. Since she's the target of my revenge, there will be no forgiveness. I'll make her into my new possession, toy. First off, it's trampling her. As a swordsman, I certainly fall behind the Sword Saint Kuroha Clayolet. However, I'm not a swordsman nor anything. There exist a few methods I could use to win. While gripping my sword tightly, I think about how I can play with her, without harming her beauty. Chapter 5, The Healing Magician Transcends the Strongest. This Sword Saint Kuroha Claylot and I were standing facing each other. She has absolutely no mercy to me who was her benefactor that healed her arm before. Although I did change my name and face to escape from the kingdom, she's a cruel woman. Setsuna, stay out of this. You'll only be a burden, so stay away and learn. Kiruga NN. Good luck, Kiruga-sama. Setsuna following my orders, Setsuna retreated to where the collapsed Freya was. Good, now I can fight without reserve. If I fight as a swordsman, I can't win against Kuroha. However, if I don't choose a method, I can see a chance of winning. First is to analyze her war potential. Using Jade Eyes, I checked the Sword Saint Kuroha's status. Race, Human Name, Kuroha Class, Sword Saint Level, 45 Status, MP, 169 Physical Attack, 122 Physical Defense, 86 Magical Attack, 70 Magical Resistance, 86 Speed, 103 Level Limit, 51 Talent Values, MP, 91 Physical Attack, 128 Physical Defense, 90 Magical Attack, 72 Magical Resistance, 90 Speed, 109 Total Talent Value, 580 Abilities, Divine Sword LV5 All-Seeing LV5 Skills, Divine Sword Ability Increase LV3, Sword Saint Only Skill, Speed and Power Data Correction. Presence Detection LV3, Sword Saint Only Skill, All-Seeing's Detection Range and Speed Data Correction. As always, she's like a monster. A high level and a joke-like total talent value with a splendid distribution. Her originally strong abilities have reached as far as LV5, and have been further strengthened by her skills. At this rate, I can't win. That's why, I'll become stronger. Transformation Heal, Kiruga. Since I know that the Sword Saint Kuroha Claylot can't use magic, I can throw away my magic resistance with a peace of mind. That being said, I can't assign it to be lower than 40. Race, Human Name, Kira Class, Healing Magician, Hero Level, 38 Status, MP, 127 67 Physical Attack, 66 129 Physical Defense, 69 107 Magical Attack, 81 59 Magical Resistance, 45 36 Speed, 150 119 Level Limit, Talent Values, MP, 80 40 Physical Attack, 80 162 Physical Defense, 83 133 Magical Attack, 170 Magical Resistance, 52 40 Speed, 196 150 Total Talent Value, 595. Using Transformation Heal, my talent values are said to be anti-Kuroha. Due to the talent values changing, my status automatically changes as well. The status is determined by the talent values and levels. Thanks to us repelling the guys who assaulted the Ice Wolf village last time, my level rose from 30 to 38. Also, by taking in monster genetics, my total talent values rose by a bit. When we were fighting the kingdom soldiers, I made my distribution to specialize in speed, but when facing elites like Kuroha, no matter how fast, there's no meaning if those movements are too simple. That's why I purposely lowered my speed enough so that I can perfectly control it. With Kuroha as my opponent, there's no way I won't receive a single sword stroke, so I can't throw away my defensive strength. As long as it's not instant death, I can use a recovery heal. For that reason, I need the necessary defensive strength. As I am now, I exceed Kuroha when comparing physical strength, defensive strength, and speed. Kuroha disappears. The moment I thought that, I sweep my sword sideways. She should be there. I heard the sound of a sword clashing against another sword. Kuroha had stopped my sword. Maybe, if I didn't know Kuroha's swordsmanship, I would have been ended after the first surprise attack. she isn't only fast. Every human has their own rhythm. Their breathing rhythm, heartbeat rhythm, etc. By being in complete sync with their own rhythm, people are able to easily use high-grade techniques that are disconnected from their recognition. Can you see me? Kuroha, well, I wonder. Giruga, in spite of me use an imitation heel in going through her experiences, I can't imitate that. It's also impossible to see through her thoughts. However, I know what kind of attack she will do in certain situations. Therefore, I was able to attack her with my sword. Although I was able to defend against her first attack, I can't put my guard down. Utilizing the shock she got from when our swords collided, she does a rotating consecutive attack. Quick and smooth movements. Despite winning in status values, I'm one-sidedly being pushed back. While having that good of a sword arm, why did you go on the wrong path? Kuroha clicks her tongue, and I don't reply to that. No, I can't, I don't have room to do that. If I make a single mistake in receiving these storm-like consecutive attacks, it'll be a fatal wound. Because of imitation heel, I have a superior status. Because of imitation heel, I was able to imitate her sword techniques. Furthermore, by knowing all of her experiences, I'm able to predict what will happen. Even though I've done this much, I still fall behind her. That is, the sword Saint Kuroha Clail it. It's regrettable. It's regrettable to actually kill her. However, Kuroha hurt my property, Freya. There's no way I can forgive her. A high-pitched sound of metal was made, it's the sound of a sword breaking. Kuroha's sword had broken. For the very moment she started fighting, a chance has appeared for the first time. Finally, it had taken longer than I expected. Taking use of that chance, I thrust and aimed for the base of her neck. Although I want to end it here. Kiruga unintentionally raised a voice of anguish. A strong impact in my stomach, my bones break and even my internal organs have taken severe damage. The moment I thrusted, Kuroha inclined her head, and far from escaping, she stepped forwards. From there, she hit me with a palm heel strike that had her back put into it. By utilizing my force, she hit me with a counter. Being blown away, I hit the wall and one of my bones broke after making a thick sound. Recovery heel, Kiruga, I heal my broken body. That was dangerous. If I had thrown away my defensive power, it would have been an instant death. Each time our swords collided, you had been using magic that corrodes my sword, it seems. Kuroha, correct answer. Kiruga, I had used alchemy magic via my sword. Although it's possible to break it in one go by touching it directly with my bare hands, pulling off a feat like catching the sword Kuroha is swinging with my bare hands is impossible. Therefore, I clad my own sword in mana and made Kuroha's sword fragile bit by bit. Without even having the ability, you have an unimaginable skill in the sword. You have magic that strengthens your physical ability and magic that can corrode swords and magic that heals wounds. Who exactly are you? I would want you to teach me what kind of class can do that much. Kuroha, I'll teach you if you overlook me. Kiruga, you jest. An opponent this dangerous, I am increasingly unable to overlook you. Kuroha extracts a spare sword from her back. She most likely won't receive my sword with her sword anymore. Good grief, this is troublesome. That's unfortunate. Kiruga, from inside my bag, I throw a bottle that has a certain potion inside. This kind of idiotic attack was obviously dodged by Kuroha. The insides of a bottle that was cracked after being thrown onto the ground scatter. This is fine. This is the correct way of using this potion. Kuroha fiercely shortens the distance again. However, her sword was somewhat chipped. Fearing that her sword might break, Kuroha doesn't receive my sword with her sword. As a result, it considerably limits her attack patterns. Because of that, my prediction accuracy also goes up. If I devote myself to defending, I can hold out. However, my disadvantages from before haven't changed. The moment I switch to offense, I will probably receive a severe counter. Since you're only defending and don't intend on attacking, are you thinking of waiting until I'm tired and my sword is blunt? Kuroha certainly not. Kyoruga Kuroha has gone through hellish training. There's no way I could win if I challenged her to a stamina contest, and I'm waiting for something different. I smell something sweet. It seems the contents of the potion I threw earlier has vaporized and drifted in the surrounding air. It should be about time. For the first time since I came here, I attack from my own accord. If it was the usual Kuroha, she would have given me a fatal wound by taking use of the gap I make when attacking. Her sword breaks, but with her skillfulness in her technique, she was able to pull it off even while being disturbed. However, that would only happen in a normal situation. The drug has already circulated, and just as I predicted, she pulled back. It's just evasion. What's wrong, Sword Saint? Is your physical condition bad or something? Kyoruga. What exactly did you do? Kuroha, you think I'd reveal my hand to the enemy? Kyoruga, I laugh. The potion that I threw earlier was an experimental aphrodisiac. It's made to blend into the air when the seal is opened. Normally it's used indoors to make the woman become lewd and enjoy herself without realizing it, but when it's used outside, it spreads too far, which makes the effects weaker. However, what I threw was the undiluted solution. Although I have resistance, it's a drug that can make any innocent woman open their thighs with pleasure. There is no way the virgin and inexperienced Kuroha will be able to endure this. With a red face and rough breaths, she rubs her inner thighs together. It doesn't matter if she's a sword saint, because after all, she's a woman. She is wearing trousers that make her slender legs look attractive, but the area of her nether regions is wet. Even from on top of her clothes, I can see that the cherries on her breasts are pointing up. Now, let's continue. Kyoruga, I laugh at her. I can easily defeat Kuroha while she's in this state, and it's a mystery whether she can properly hold her sword or not. While letting her eyes become drowsy, Kuroha raises her sword overhead and thrusts it into her thigh. Blood scatters everywhere. With that sword, which was dirtied by her own blood, she thrust at me. Yes, let us do that. I will strike down that dirty sword of yours. I am going to settle this for sure. Kuroha, how brave. She's forcibly sustaining her sanity with pain. I want to applaud her. In that case, I'll settle this just as you wish for. She has somewhat recovered her sanity with pain, but she's far off from her perfect condition. I wonder how she is going to wield her sword while having a body that would climax just from walking. That being said, the opponent is a wounded beast. I shouldn't let my guard down. Taking an overhead position, she comes close and swings downwards with her sword. For a moment, I felt a chill. Kuroha's eyes that were melting with sexual desire was extremely cold-hearted and transparent. The world froze. The atmosphere was tense enough to make me feel that kind of illusion. My arm that was grasping my sword danced through the sky, going round and round. Kuroha must have raised her sword from a low position. Extreme speed was a half-hearted word when describing those movements. Her movements didn't even reflect in my eyes. Her figure after raising her sword is beautiful. This is Sword Saint Kuroha Clayolet. Even while being ruined by the aphrodisiac, she continued to be a beautiful sword. Ah, I'm deeply, deeply moved. Ah ha 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 ha, it's just as I hoped for. However, you couldn't surpass my expectations, Kuroha. Kyoruga, my arm being cut and blown off was within my expectations, so I hadn't stopped my momentum. I hold aloft my arm that should have been cut and blown off. I grab Kuroha's head immediately after healing it with recovery heal. The reason my hand was able to touch her head was because Kuroha had put all her power into that one blow. Transformation heal. Kyoruga, the reason my right arm was cut off was because I purposely lead her into thinking she has a chance. If it was the normal Kuroha, she would notice my intention and suspect my purposely created gap. After suspecting it, she wouldn't attack and aim for a genuine chance. However, her current self doesn't have the composure for that. Wielding the sword is the most she can do, and she wants to end the battle early. Being bound by those thoughts, she couldn't help but bite onto the chance I made. That was my true intention. For me, as a healing magician, losing an arm is not a serious injury. Thanks to this arm, there was a chance to capture Kuroha. This is what I wanted. My transformation heal activates, ruining Kuroha. This is, lie, stupid. Kuroha holds her head in her arms and screams. Fumu, it seems that she was able to enjoy the present I drove into her brain with transformation heal. The kingdom is an awful group. If she doesn't understand through words, I have to make her feel it. For that reason, I directly hammered the Inhumane Kingdom Special Demi-Human compilation tilde into her head, leaving it as memories. In both the first world and this time's world, I've used imitation heal in a countless number of kingdom soldiers, so I have an abundance of their memories. I chose the best one, which is the unjust conduct that the kingdom did towards the demi-humans, and summarized it, leaving it as a special memory. Massive killing, sexual assault and robbery. There are plenty of unsightly scenes of humans. If that is shown to someone, no matter how much of a kingdom believer they are, they'll hate the kingdom in one shot. The guys at the Diaoral Kingdom don't treat demi-humans as humans. Their actions towards the demi-humans are bad enough that even demons would be a bit reserved to do. Their deeds deviated from the proper course, and out of those, I picked the worst ones to show her. The effects of it on the proud sword Saint Sama should be extraordinary. Lie, it's a lie. This kind of thing, Kuroha's whole body starts convulsing, and she then faints while shedding tears. Now then, with this, Kuroha Claylet has been broken. Kiruga now she will no longer function as a sword that protects the kingdom. The key point of this, is that even if she denies the reality that I showed her, Kuroha will probably try and find out the truth herself, ending up with her despairing. Once that happens, she will hate the Diaoral Kingdom from the bottom of her heart. She's a woman with a strong sense of justice, she might even become the kingdom's enemy out of her own will. Ah, that's right. I thought of something good. Rather than making Kuroha Claylet my property, toy, there's a good way of playing with her. I use a recovery heal on Freya and wake her up. I'm very sorry Kiruga-sama. I was easily defeated. Freya, that's fine, just practice your close combat bit by bit. Leaving that aside, I have one request for you. Kiruga, a request you say? Freya, yeah, I want you to do some acting. Once Kuroha opens her eyes, I want you to act like a princess. The setting is that you're a courageous princess that found out about the other face of the kingdom which hurt your heart, ran away together with a hero and wants to save a world that includes the demi-humans. That kind of feeling, I guess. By the way, I'm going to act like a hero that fell for the princess and ran away together with her. Kiruga, although I once thought of making Kuroha hollow like I did to Princess Flare and then turn her into a slave, this way seems more interesting. I'll make her walk a path of ruin out of her own will, and not like a puppet. For the first time in a while, I guess I'll go back to being Kira-kun. If it's this setting, there's no problem informing her that I'm actually the hero of healing. Well, I wonder what kind of reaction the despairing sword saint who believed and served the Diaoral Kingdom will make for me. While thinking about that, I tie up both of her hands and feet and head towards the inn. It would be good if the drug's effects disappeared by the time she wakes up, but well, if it remains, then I just have to be affectionate towards her until it wears off. I won't put pressure on her. After all, I am a hero that escaped after knowing the kingdom's darkness. I can't do awful things to women. Even so, I will give a proper response if I'm wanted.